size, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Canelo, he's not knocking Canelo out. So he just got to go in there just IQ.
Would you lean towards Canelo still in that fight?
I got faith in him. I think Crawford could do it, you know what I'm saying?
Boxing pros are reacting to new footage from Canelo Alvarez's training camp as he prepares to face Terence Crawford. Meanwhile, Shannon Briggs has publicly backed Crawford to win by stoppage, saying he's known him since age 12 and is proud to see him reach this level. Briggs believes Crawford's switch stance and smart approach will throw Canelo off. He pointed out that Canelo has been outboxed in the past and says Crawford will wear him down and finish the fight in the later rounds.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a great fight. I got Crawford by stoppage, and I've known him since he was a little kid, you know, 12 years old. So to see him now fighting for a title in such a big fight, it's a great experience, great to see.
Last question for me then, how do you think Crawford stops him? How do you think he's able to work Canelo enough for him to stop the fight, drop, knock him down? How do you think this is possible by Crawford style?
He gonna box him. He can fight both ways. He gonna trick him up. You know, one thing Canelo showed is that he can be outboxed. But I think this time, in the late rounds, you know, I think
Lonnie B shared his view that Crawford won't be able to beat Canelo. He explained that Bivol outboxed Canelo because of his size, strength, and power, which Crawford lacks. According to him, Crawford's punches won't have enough impact to make Canelo back off or take them seriously. Lonnie B believes Canelo will keep pressing forward, cut off the ring, and apply pressure. He pointed out that while Canelo doesn't throw a lot of punches once Crawford lands, Canelo will switch to attack mode. He added that Crawford is tough and loves to fight, but eventually Canelo will catch up and come out with the win.
But I just can't see. Thing is, Bivol was able to outbox him because he's bigger and stronger and got a little more pop on his punches. I don't think Crawford's going to have enough power to keep him off. I don't think his punching power is going to be devastating. Like Canelo, like, whoa. I think Canelo will be like, oh, that's it. And he's just going to be walking in, cutting the ring off, putting them together. You know what I'm saying? Well, Canelo don't throw a lot of punches, but I think once Crawford hit him, and I think he's gonna be on go time. And Crawford hard as gangster, he tries to fight a little bit. So I think you know, Canelo will end up catching up to him. And
however, Canelo's training for the Crawford fight is expected to be intense and highly focused. He is likely working on boosting his stamina, footwork, and speed to keep up with Crawford's movement. Known for his power, Canelo will need to stay sharp in every round, especially against someone as slick and intelligent as Crawford. Moreover, Lamont Roach said he's a fan of both Canelo and Terence Crawford and has great respect for them as top-level fighters. When asked to choose a winner, he admitted it's a tough call because he likes both. However, he mentioned that Canelo's power is a concern for him. He said Canelo hits very hard, and that kind of strength makes him a bit uneasy when thinking about how the fight could play out.
Canelo versus Bud Crawford. I kind of have to put you in the spot. Who do you like? Who you going with?
I like both. I'm a fan of Canelo. I'm a fan of Terence Crawford. They're both amazing fighters. Canelo's just a huge puncher, bro. It scares me a little.
Edgar Berlanga said Crawford needs to step into the ring and just fight while staying true to his style and using his high ring IQ. He emphasized that Crawford must believe in himself and show why he's a two-time undisputed world champion. Berlanga highlighted the big jump in weight as a serious factor, comparing it to himself moving up to heavyweight, where size and power differences would clearly matter. He believes Crawford is challenging himself by facing a great fighter and deserves respect for taking that risk. Even if Crawford loses, Berlanga said it's still about aiming for greatness, and he fully believes in Crawford's skills.
Gotta go in there, and he just gotta fight him, you know what I'm saying? He gotta go in there. I think Crawford just gotta go in there and do what he gotta do. You know what I'm saying? He gotta just be Crawford, you know, show his IQ, show him why he's a two-time undisputed, you know, world champion, and go in there with confidence, you know what I'm saying? That's all it is, you know, there's a big weight difference, a big weight jump, you know, that could be a difference in the fight, you know, because obviously, you know, it's like me jumping up to heavyweight. Obviously, I'm a foot of power, I'm a foot of that size difference, you know, compared to my other fights. So I just think that he got to go in there and just be himself. And I said, if he loses, you know, we'll just all know that, hey, you know, he just jumped up 2 weight classes to be great. You know what I'm saying? It's not, he can't really, he's testing himself. He's testing himself a great fighter. So, and I don't doubt him, you know, I don't got no doubt in my mind. You know, he's a 2-time undisputed world champion for a reason, so.
Edgar Berlanga also said that the only thing that might trouble Crawford in the fight is the size and power difference. He made it clear that Crawford isn't likely to knock Canelo out, so his ring IQ will be key. When asked if he still favors Canelo, Berlanga said he believes in Crawford and thinks he can win. However, he admitted that the size and power gap, along with Canelo's own high fight IQ, could have a major impact. He pointed out that Canelo has already faced bigger opponents and doesn't think Crawford's power or size will bother him much. In the end, Berlanga called it a 50-50 fight.
I don't think none's gonna phase him in that fight, you know what I'm saying? Maybe the power, maybe the size, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Canelo, he's not knocking Canelo out, so he just gotta go in there just IQ.
Would you lean towards Canelo still in that fight?
I got faith in him. I think Crawford could do it, you know what I'm saying? I think he could do it. Just like I said, just the size, the only that throws the fight off is the size and, you know, obviously the power. And Canelo's IQ too, because Canelo got IQ, you know what I'm saying? And Canelo fought a lot much bigger guys, you know? So I know the Crawford's power ain't gonna phase him. I know Crawford's size ain't gonna phase him either, you know what I'm saying? So, but for me, I think it's a 50-50 fight.
However, Canelo is going through a tough 10-week training camp focused on building strength, endurance, and speed. His team has him sparring with bigger fighters, running every day, and working on defense to prepare for Crawford's style. Each session is designed to boost his power and overall toughness. Roy Jones Jr. said he doesn't pay attention to face-offs or who looks tougher, but instead focuses on the skills each fighter brings to the ring. He sees Crawford as a focused and determined fighter who has waited patiently for a moment like this and is now ready to make the most of it. On the other hand, he feels Canelo might not have the same hunger anymore, even though he still enjoys the spotlight and aims to deliver exciting fights. Roy said Canelo could win if he fights a perfect match, but he's not sure Canelo can do that at this stage in his career. In the end, he believes it all depends on whether Crawford can handle Canelo's strength and pressure.
I pay no attention to the pushing and shoving. I pay no attention to the weight factor. What I pay attention to is the skill level that both guys show in and out of the ring. And what I'm seeing is I see a hungry Crawford, a Crawford that has been looking for the opportunity for a long time, finally getting the opportunity, and really ready to grab the opportunity. And with Canelo, I see a guy who's not necessarily hungry, but loves to entertain, loves to give us the big fights. Always tries to give the big fights. He finds a way to give us big fights. Not gonna always win them, but he always tries to give them to us. So he'll be a guy that, if he shows up and does the exact right thing, he can win the fight. If he don't do the right thing, which I don't see him doing, I don't know why he would at this point in his career. I don't know. It'll all be predicated upon how well Terrence can take his punch.
Roy Jones Jr. also said he isn't concerned about the weight difference between Canelo and Terrence Crawford because true skill can carry through any weight class. He explained that Crawford is so technically sound that size becomes less of a factor. The real question, according to Roy, is whether Crawford can handle the power at a higher weight, and he believes he can, especially since he's likely trained with bigger fighters like super middleweights and light heavyweights. Roy added that when a fighter is truly skilled, those abilities move up with them. For him, it's not about size, but the talent and technique a fighter brings into the ring.
When you know how to box, when you're as skillful as Terrence Crawford is, weight don't really matter much. All that matter with the weight is can you take the punch? And I'm sure he's been sparring with super middles and light heavies, so I'm sure he probably can take the punch. So that's the only thing when you got skill. Now if you don't have a skill, you can't take the weight, take it up, because you're gonna lose your punch, you're gonna lose everything. And when you got skill, all your stuff that you have goes up with you. You talk to the GOAT, I went out with a heavyweight.
No, it's a lot of the people, which is why I brought up, would use the weight as an advantage for Canelo. But I agree, and you're right. Canelo fights obviously taller fighters all the time and wins. It's about skill as opposed to, a lot of the time anyway, as opposed to weight.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm not really worried about the weight. I'm worried about the skill level that they use.
Teofimo Lopez said that although he was leaning toward Canelo before, he now feels Crawford might surprise everyone. He pointed out that all eyes are on Crawford, especially with fans curious to see how he handles jumping up 2 weight classes. Lopez mentioned Crawford's fight against Madrimov last year as a key step, but also expressed concern. He said Crawford's pattern of fighting only once a year could be a big problem in a fight of this scale and intensity.
I've been saying Canelo, but I think Crawford might pull something, you know?
Why?
I think that the odds are in his favor. as far as that. You know, the reason why people are gonna tune in, it's not just because of Canelo. It's gonna be mainly because of the Crawford. How is he gonna do going up, you know, 2 more weight classes? You know, especially after the Maljama fight that he had in last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the problem, though. Crawford is fighting too many. He's not fighting a lot. He's fighting once every year.
UFC legend Alexander Volkanovski shared how exciting it is to see the Canelo versus Crawford fight finally happening. He said it's a fascinating matchup, especially with Crawford moving up in weight. Volkanovski praised Canelo's power and talent but also pointed out Crawford's high-level technical skills, admitting he can't choose a clear winner. He expressed deep respect for both fighters, called them incredible, and said he's just looking forward to watching the fight and seeing how it unfolds.
That's incredible to see happening. But, you know, it would be interesting to see how, Canelo and Crawford goes. Obviously, moving up. Man, Canelo's a beast. So it's, but Crawford's so good. Man, I don't know. I don't know. Who am I leaning towards? Man, Crawford's so good, but Canelo having the size. I don't know, man. I can't pick it. Look at me. I literally cannot pick it. I just think I just got so much respect for both of them. I think they're both incredible. And I cannot just wait to...
Paddy Pimblett said he's a big fan of Terence Crawford and would be rooting for him if he fights Canelo. While he respects what Canelo has achieved, he admitted he's not a huge fan and would prefer to see Crawford win to add some excitement to boxing. When asked for a prediction, Paddy said he's unsure how it would end due to the size difference but believes the fight would likely go the distance and be decided by the judges.
Terence Bud Crawford or Canelo? Who do you got in that one?
Well, I really like Terence Crawford, so I'd back him. You know what I mean? I like Canelo, but I'm not his biggest fan. I'd rather see Crawford win and shake up the boxing world a bit.
Do you think it'd be a decision, or you think he can put him out there?
I don't know. Canelo's a lot bigger than him, so more than likely be a decision.
Robert Garcia said many people are overlooking Terence Crawford because of the clear size gap between him and Canelo Alvarez, but he doesn't see it that way. He believes Crawford has the tools to compete, including quick hands and smart footwork. While Canelo is powerful and highly experienced, Garcia thinks Crawford's sharp timing and overall skill give him a real shot at winning. He added that although Canelo is still getting wins, he no longer pushes himself or switches things up like he used to. Instead, Canelo seems to do just enough to win, and Garcia feels that could give Crawford the edge.
It's a fight that most of the people don't give Crawford a chance because of the size, but he's got skills, man. He's got skills. He's got good speed, good footwork. That's why I do give him a chance.
You do give Crawford.
I do give Crawford a chance, of course. Canelo's last few fights, he does his work. He gets work done.
But Garcia also mentioned that Canelo now seems more focused on business than fighting with passion. He pointed out that in Canelo's recent performance, he looked slower, stayed flat-foot, and relied more on single punches rather than applying pressure or throwing combinations. Garcia believes that this lack of urgency could work in Crawford's favor, especially if Crawford stays sharp and uses his movement effectively. Considering where both fighters are in their careers, Garcia feels Crawford has a real chance to win the fight.
But never does that little extra to please or to he knows he doesn't need to anymore, so he's just comfortable enough with just securing the win. He became a businessman, and I think that could be something in favor of Crawford, that if he comes out in his best and good footwork, Canelo is flat-footed. He his last fight, especially against the runner, he was throwing one punch at a time. Didn't even try to be aggressive and get him into the ropes, throw combinations of 4 or 5 punches. He never even tried that. So I think at this stage, I am giving Crawford a big chance of...
Bare-knuckle fighter Mike Perry said he's very interested in seeing who wins between Canelo and Terence Crawford. When asked who he's backing, he said he wants to wait until the face-off before making a final call. Like many in the fight world, he leans slightly toward Crawford but also believes Canelo might have a few surprises in store. Perry explained that seeing how both fighters carry themselves face-to-face will help him decide who he truly thinks will come out on top.
Curious to see who wins that fight.
Well, wait, real quick. Who do you got, Canelo or Terrence?
I'll have a guess. You know what? Just like the rest of the people in the fight game, I'll make my pick when I see the face-off. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell you right now. Actually, I think, a little bit Terrence. But Canelo might know some shit. I gotta see the face.
Shane Mosley said that moving up to 168 pounds to fight Canelo Alvarez could be a big risk for Terrence Crawford. He pointed out that Crawford looked his best at 140 and 147 pounds and did okay at 154, but taking on someone as strong and heavy as Canelo might be pushing it too far. Mosley explained that while Crawford is very skilled, he often chooses to stand and trade punches instead of constantly moving, which could be dangerous. If Crawford decides to go shot for shot with Canelo, Mosley believes the size and strength difference could be too much for him to handle.
Canelo's too big for Crawford. I think Canelo's too big for Crawford. I think that's the reason why, if Crawford was a mover like the rest of the fight, then maybe he could have a good chance with Canelo. But I think that being that Crawford is a fighter, that's gonna be his problem. He's a fighter. He wants to fight. He's gonna move a little bit, but his heart is not in moving. So he's gonna have to sit there and fight with Canelo. And if you sit there and fight with Canelo, and he's that much bigger than you, then I don't know. But everybody thinks, Crawford, he's a great boxer. He's this, he's that, which he is. He's a great fighter, and I think he's a great fighter at 140, 47, and he seems just to be, good at 54.
Abel Sanchez praised both Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez for being smart and skilled fighters, but said he gives the edge to Canelo because of his size and strong defense. He pointed out that Canelo has taken clean shots from heavy hitters like Gennady Golovkin, Dmitry Bivol, and Sergey Kovalev without showing signs of being hurt, proving how well he can absorb power. Sanchez also mentioned that Crawford tends to get hit more often, even at 154 pounds, and said that no matter how sharp Crawford is or how much weight he adds, going up against someone with Canelo's strength and size is a whole different challenge.
Okay, well, first of all, Terrence Crawford is a great fighter, but so is Canelo. I think that, in my opinion, their IQ is similar, except Canelo doesn't get hit like Crawford gets hit. In my opinion, Canelo's a bigger man. Not that he started out as a bigger man, but he's now a bigger man. He has been hit by not only Gennady, who's one of the biggest punchers that I've ever coached and I've ever seen, but he's also been hit by Bivol, by Kovalev, who's a big puncher. He's been hit by big guys. Crawford had a hard time with a 154-pounder who hit him often. So I think that no matter how much weight he puts on, no matter how smart he thinks he is or how big he thinks he is, he's going to be good.
Sanchez also predicted that Crawford could look sharp in the early rounds, using his speed and technique to win a few rounds at the start. However, as the fight progresses, he believes Canelo's power and experience will start to take over. He pointed out that by the 6th or 7th round, Canelo typically finds his rhythm and begins landing heavy, accurate shots with growing confidence. While acknowledging that Canelo may not have the best footwork, Sanchez praised his upper body movement, head defense, and punching power. He concluded that Canelo will likely either stop Crawford late or win by a wide points margin, and warned that Crawford's corner should be prepared to step in if the fight becomes too one-sided.
At the beginning, the speed and the talent will show in the fight. I think Canelo will lose 3 or 4 rounds at the beginning, but then once he starts pounding on him, as it's been for the last 6-7 fights at Canelo, after the 6th or 7th round, it's a sparring session for him. He just throwing bombs away and not caring about what they do to him. But he's got excellent defense. Unfortunately, his feet don't move as well as I would like for him to move them, but his upper body is just unbelievable. He slips punches very well. He's got great hands. He parries very well, and he lands big shots. He may not land as many, but he lands big shots that hurt. So I think Canelo stops him, or wide decision at the end. And corner must think about Crawford.
Alicia Baumgardner said the fight between Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez is exciting because both are experienced, athletic, and highly skilled. She highlighted Canelo's long career, noting how he has faced tough opponents and consistently bounced back after setbacks. Baumgardner also praised Crawford for his recent dominant performances, saying his true talent is finally being recognized. Although she finds it difficult to pick a winner, she believes experience will be a key factor, and that could ultimately decide the outcome when they step into the ring.
You know, that's a great fight. You have two experienced fighters. You know, when we talk about experience, when we talk about athleticism, when we talk about skill, all those come together when you think of Terrence Crawford and Canelo. And with what I'm seeing is that, you know, Canelo's been in this game for years. You know, he's experienced with losses twice. You know, he took a challenge trying to move on, lost, came back. He's doing what he loves to do. And I think we saw the fight with Terrence Crawford and him dominating in a fashion that the world was ready to see. And then we've seen his last fight. So we're kind of taking off from your last fight, seeing that it's going to be a great fight. I can't pick a winner, but you know, experience speaks, and experience will trump everything.
That's it for today's video. So, what are your thoughts on the potential Canelo versus Crawford showdown? Do you think experience, power, or technique will win the night? Drop your opinions in the comments section below. Backhand index pointing down, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss an update. Also, check out our other videos right here on the screen. There's plenty more boxing action and breakdowns waiting for you. Boxing Glove Fire, thanks for watching.